The Millionaire Who Had Nothing. Ethan Cole had always believed that money was the answer to everything. Growing up in a small, forgotten town, he watched his parents struggle every single day. His father worked long hours at a factory, while his mother took care of the house and did small sewing jobs to earn extra money. They never complained, but Ethan could see the exhaustion in their eyes. At the age of 10, Ethan made a silent promise to himself. One day, I will become rich, and I will never live like this again. Years passed, and that promise became his obsession. Ethan was not the smartest student, but he was the most determined. While others spent time with friends, he studied business, watched interviews of successful entrepreneurs, and read every book he could find about money. At 22, he moved to the city with almost nothing in his pocket. No connections, no support, no backup plan, only ambition. He started working as a sales assistant in a small tech company. The pay was terrible, but Ethan didn't care. He observed everything: how deals were made, how people negotiated, how money moved. He worked harder than anyone else. While others left at 6 p.m., Ethan stayed until midnight. While others rested, Ethan learned. And slowly, things began to change. At 28, Ethan took a huge risk. He quit his job and started his own company. Everyone thought he was crazy. "You're going to fail," they said. "You don't have enough experience. You don't have investors." But Ethan didn't listen. For 2 years, he struggled. There were days he couldn't even afford proper food, nights when he slept in his office, moments when he almost gave up. But he didn't. Then one day, everything changed. A major client signed a deal with his company. That one deal turned into many. Within a year, Ethan made his first $1 million. Success came fast, too fast. Ethan bought a luxury apartment, expensive cars, designer clothes. People who once ignored him now wanted to be his friend. He became someone important, someone powerful, someone rich. But something strange began to happen. The more money he made, the less he felt. One night, Ethan sat alone in his penthouse looking at the city lights. Everything he had ever dreamed of was right in front of him: money, status, power. But inside, there was nothing. No real friends, no family around him, no one who truly cared. His phone was full of contacts, but no one to call. He whispered to himself, "Is this what I wanted?" For the first time in his life, Ethan felt lost. That night changed everything. Ethan couldn't sleep. The silence in his luxurious apartment felt heavier than ever. He decided to go outside, something he hadn't done without purpose in years. He walked through the quiet streets, hands in his pockets, mind full of questions. After a while, he noticed an old man sitting on a bench. The man looked peaceful, not rich, not powerful, but calm. Ethan stopped for a moment, then sat down next to him. "Can't sleep?" the old man asked, without even looking at him. Ethan was surprised. "Yeah." They sat in silence for a while. Then the old man smiled slightly and said, "You have everything and nothing at the same time, don't you?" Ethan's heart skipped a beat. "How do you know that?" he asked. The old man finally looked at him. "Because I was you." The old man introduced himself as Daniel. Once he had been a very successful businessman, rich beyond imagination, but he lost everything. Not just money, but something far more important. "My family," Daniel said quietly. "I was too busy making money that I forgot to live." Ethan felt uncomfortable. It was like looking into his own future. Daniel continued, "You think money gives you freedom, but sometimes it becomes your prison." Those words stayed in Ethan's mind. For the first time, someone wasn't impressed by his success. For the first time, someone saw through him. Days passed, but Ethan couldn't forget that conversation. Something inside him had shifted. At work, things were still going well. His company was growing rapidly. Investors were calling. Opportunities were everywhere. But Ethan started noticing things he had ignored before. His employees looked stressed. Some were unhappy. Some feared him. He wasn't a leader. He was just a boss. One day, his assistant, Mia, hesitated before entering his office. "Is everything okay?" Ethan asked. She took a deep breath. "People are burning out. They're scared to talk to you." Ethan didn't respond immediately. No one had ever said that to him. A few weeks later, everything collapsed. One of Ethan's biggest deals failed unexpectedly. Investors pulled back. The company's stock started dropping. Pressure hit him from all sides. Calls, emails, demands. For the first time in years, Ethan felt powerless. That same night, he received a message. It was from his mother. "I miss you." Just 3 words, but they hit harder than any financial loss. Ethan realized something painful. He hadn't visited his parents in years. The next morning, Ethan made a decision no one expected. He left the city. No meetings, no announcements, no explanations. He drove back to his hometown, the place where everything started. When he arrived, nothing had changed. The same small streets, the same simple houses, the same quiet life. But this time, he saw it differently. He knocked on the door. His mother opened it. For a moment, she just stared at him. Then she hugged him tightly. No questions, no anger, just love. Inside the house, everything felt warm, real. His father smiled and said, "So the millionaire finally came home." Ethan laughed slightly, but his eyes were filled with something else, regret. That evening, they sat together for dinner. Simple food, simple conversation, but Ethan felt something he hadn't felt in years. Peace. No pressure, no expectations, no pretending, just being himself. Later that night, Ethan walked outside alone. He looked at the sky full of stars. Back in the city, he had everything, but here, he finally felt alive. The next morning, Ethan woke up early, not because of alarms, not because of meetings, but because he wanted to. He sat outside with a cup of tea, watching the sunrise. It had been years since he had done something so simple. His father joined him. "You look different," his father said. Ethan smiled slightly. "I feel different." There was a pause. Then Ethan asked something he never thought he would. "Dad, what does success mean to you?" His father didn't answer immediately. Instead, he looked around, at the house, the garden, the quiet street. Then he said, "Going to sleep without regret and waking up with peace." Those words hit deeper than anything Ethan had learned in business. At that moment, Ethan knew what he had to do. When Ethan returned to the city, everything felt different. The same buildings, the same office, the same people. But he wasn't the same person anymore. He called a meeting with his team. Everyone expected bad news. Instead, Ethan stood in front of them and said, "I built this company to make money, but I forgot about people." The room was silent. "I want to change that." Some were confused. Some didn't believe him. But Ethan continued, "From today, we rebuild this company, not just for profit, but for purpose." Change wasn't easy. Some investors left. Some partners disagreed. Some people thought Ethan had lost his mind. Profits dropped, growth slowed, and for the first time in years, Ethan wasn't chasing money. He was building something meaningful. He reduced working hours, improved conditions, actually listened to his employees. At first, it felt risky, but slowly, something amazing happened. People started caring. Months passed, the company was no longer the fastest growing, but it became something else. Stronger, healthier, real. Employees were happier, they trusted Ethan, they believed in what they were building. One day, Mia walked into his office again, but this time she was smiling. "People aren't scared of you anymore," she said. Ethan laughed. "Good." Then she added, "They respect you." That meant more than any profit he had ever made. One evening, Ethan went back to the same bench where he had met Daniel, and just like before, Daniel was there. "You changed," Daniel said. Ethan nodded. "I understand." Daniel smiled. "And what did you learn?"